Welcome to another menopausal morning. I'm Diana Johnson, back with more fun in your middle ages. Video number 8 in our series is on a particularly infuriating development in menopause, the hit and miss period. As you all know, the promise we live for in midlife is being liberated once and for all from ever having to entertain another visit from our old Aunt Flo. We resolve ourselves to accepting every symptom, from hot flashes to insomnia, for the final payoff that is freedom from the curse. But what we might not be ready for is the haphazard way our uterus may choose to relinquish her power over us. It is not a cold turkey scenario. No ma'am Pam. This bitch is gonna drag this stuff out until our last nerve is frayed, until our last tear is shed, and yes, until our very last pair of white pants is completely ruined. My doctor told me that until I go 6 months without a period, I'm only considered perimenopausal, in the infancy of the transition. Upon hearing this news, my uterus, and I can only assume my ovaries and my pituitary gland, began to plot their timeline. Every month, for the next 5 months, usually around the time I'd normally start my period, I would cramp and swell and seethe with vitriolic hatred, as if I were going to start. I would cry to my tortured husband, "This is not natural. My body needs to get rid of this shit." Poor bastard. The only thing that could be worse than going through the change of life is watching someone you love go through the change of life. That can't be right. It's not right. Sorry, that was stupid. Of course it's harder for us. Anyway, 5 months of this 28-day fake out. Sometimes just for fun, these vindictive organs would leak a little pink discharge for half a day, just enough to ruin my high whites and employ the feminine hygiene product brigade. But do I go all in with the tampon and risk toxic shock if it isn't my period? Do I trust a mini-thin if it's only going to be a little spotting? And to which end do I position it? Towards the front if I'm going to be on my feet for the biggest part of the day? Or towards the back if I'm going to be seated at my writing desk for the most part? Or maybe I'll line 3 up from front to back? Or do I invest in a larger, thicker, more absorbent version in case it does turn out to be a full-blown period? The bottom drawer of my bathroom vanity had more feminine hygiene choices in it than aisle 8 in the Rite Aid. And then, just like a cruel joke, 5 months and 3 weeks into my hiatus, period. And what a period! Super Plus tampons washing right out of me. Soaking pads. Clots the size of hacky sacks. And cramps like labor pains. Although I must admit that once it passed and I was able to increase my iron level back to the point where I could lift my head off the pillow, I felt so much better. There really is something to be said for this house cleaning that our bodies do every month. I felt like 5 months of bloating and bad skin were finally behind me, and I secretly wished for another one the next month. And I got it. But just that month. And then off for months at a time again. You know, most of the girls in my group were raised with the fashion etiquette that you don't wear white before Memorial Day or after Labor Day. But in the throes of menopause, there's no safe season for whites. And they say that these slapdash periods could go on for the entirety of the change. And for a lot of the girls in my group, that can be the better part of years. They also say whatever pattern your mom or your sisters followed is a pretty good predictor for your own. And for those of you who don't have the luxury of knowing what your mothers or your sisters went through, just pretend you're on a roller coaster. And remember, it's more fun if you go like this. This aspect of our midlife can be just as scary, thrilling, and unpredictable as Millennium Force, Bizarro, and Nitro all rolled into one. And if we were snapping a picture in the middle of its terrifying ups and downs, you would not want to purchase a copy after the ride to commemorate the experience. But I hope you can go about your day with compassion in your heart and peace in your mind, and a wide variety of hygiene products on hand. And until next week, peace, love, and menopause.